My mother-in-law demanded I give her grandma rights and a key to our house because family doesn't need permission. I changed the locks, put up a doorbell cam, and texted, "If you show up uninvited, I'm calling the police." She tried to climb in the window. Now the whole family thinks I humiliated her with the police report. My mother-in-law showed up at my house with a locksmith. I was working from home when I heard someone at the front door. Looked out the window and there she is, standing on my porch with some guy holding a toolbox. I opened the door and asked what the hell was going on. She smiled like this was totally normal. "Oh honey, I'm just having copies made. You and my son work such long hours, and I need to be able to check on things. What if there's an emergency?" The locksmith looked uncomfortable. I told him he wasn't touching anything and he could leave. My mother-in-law's face went red. She started yelling about how she has rights as a grandmother, that she raised her son in a home where family was always welcome, and I'm being controlling and paranoid. Here's the thing. My husband and I have been dealing with her boundary issues for 2 years. She's walked into our bedroom while we were sleeping to put away laundry. She's rearranged our kitchen cabinets because they weren't organized properly. She threw out my favorite coffee mugs because they looked cheap. But this locksmith thing was next level insane. I called my husband immediately. He was in a meeting but I didn't care. Told him his mother tried to get keys made to our house without permission. He actually laughed at first because he thought I was joking. When he realized I was serious, he left work and came straight home. The conversation was brutal. She told him that her own mother had keys to her house when he was growing up, and that's what good families do. That I'm isolating him from people who actually love him. That she's worried about us and needs access just in case. My husband asked just in case what, exactly? She didn't have an answer. He told her no. Absolutely not. She cried and said we were breaking her heart. Then she looked at me and said, "This is because of her, isn't it? You never acted this way before you married her." I was done. Told her she needed to leave and she wasn't welcome back until she could respect basic boundaries. She called me a bitch and stormed out. 2 days later, we changed all the locks anyway. I had this gut feeling she'd somehow gotten copies made before, maybe from when we first moved in. Installed a video doorbell too. My husband thought I was overreacting but agreed to it because I was so stressed. Good thing we did. 4 days after that, I'm working in my home office and I get a motion alert on my phone. It's her. Trying her old key in the lock. It doesn't work obviously. She tries it 3 more times, then starts pounding on the door. I didn't answer. Just watched her on my phone. She pulled out her phone, called someone, later found out it was my husband's sister, and I could see her mouth moving. She looked furious. Then she walked around the side of the house toward the backyard. I pulled up the back camera. She was trying the sliding door. Also changed those locks. She rattled it hard enough I heard it from inside. Then she did something I genuinely couldn't believe. She tried to open our bathroom window. It's one of those small windows that sits kind of low, probably 3 feet off the ground. She actually started trying to climb through it. Got one leg up and was attempting to hoist herself inside. I watched this 62-year-old woman trying to break into my house through a window in broad daylight. I called the police. Told them someone was attempting to enter my home through a window. Gave them the address. They said they'd send someone immediately. Then I called my husband. He answered annoyed because I'd already called him twice that day about his mother driving by our house slowly. When I told him she was literally climbing through our window, he said he'd be right there. The cops arrived first. I met them at the door and showed them the doorbell footage. Then walked them around back where she was now just standing there, looking guilty. One of the officers asked her what she was doing. She said she was checking on her son's house because we weren't answering the door and she was worried. He asked if she lived here. She said no, but she's family. He asked if we'd given her permission to enter through the window. She said she shouldn't need permission because she's the grandmother. They explained to her that what she did was attempted breaking and entering. She started crying, saying this was ridiculous, that I'm turning her own son against her, that she raised him better than this. The officer said it didn't matter, she didn't have permission to be on the property and definitely didn't have permission to climb through windows. My husband pulled up right as they were telling her she needed to leave immediately and not come back or she'd be arrested for trespassing. His face went completely white when he saw the cops. His mother ran to him crying, saying I'd called the police on her for trying to visit her own son. The officer corrected her. Said she was caught on camera attempting to enter the residence through a window. My husband just stared at her. Asked if that was true. She said the window was open. It wasn't, the footage showed her trying to force it, and she was just concerned. He told her to go home. She begged him not to believe me over her. He said he saw the footage himself, the cops saw it, and she needed to leave before she got arrested. She left screaming about how I've destroyed her family. The police asked if we wanted to file a report. My husband hesitated but I said yes. They wrote everything up, gave us a case number, told us to call if she came back. That was 3 weeks ago. His entire family has been blowing up our phones. His sister called me a vindictive psycho who humiliated their mother. His dad said we're overreacting and his wife is just worried about her son. His aunt sent a long text about how I'm tearing the family apart over nothing. My husband's been supporting me, but I can tell he's exhausted. Last night he said maybe we should have just talked to her one more time instead of involving the police. That now there's a record and his mother is telling everyone we're trying to get her arrested. I don't know. Part of me feels like I protected our home and our boundaries. But watching my husband deal with his family calling him constantly, seeing how tired he looks, I'm starting to wonder if I made everything worse by calling the cops instead of just letting her embarrass herself. Was I wrong for filing that police report? My husband found out his mother has been telling people I physically assaulted her. I'm not even kidding. His cousin called him yesterday asking why he's still with me after I shoved his mother to the ground. His aunt sent a text saying she always knew I had anger issues. His dad left a voicemail saying we need to have a serious conversation about my behavior before this gets out of hand. My husband was confused as hell. Asked what they were talking about. That's when we found out his mother has been going around saying I attacked her that day, that the only reason the cops didn't arrest me is because I'm manipulative and convinced them she was the problem. She's apparently showing people a bruise on her arm and saying I grabbed her. I never touched her. Not once. The doorbell footage proves it. I was inside the whole time until the police arrived. My husband called her immediately. Put her on speaker. Asked her directly if she's been telling people I hurt her. She got quiet for a second, then said, I'm not discussing this with you while she's listening. He told her I had every right to listen since she's apparently accusing me of assault. She started crying. Said she never used that word, that people are misunderstanding her, that she's just been so traumatized by everything that happened. My husband asked about the bruise. She said she got it during the incident and that's all she's comfortable saying right now. He asked her point blank if I touched her. She said, I don't want to make this worse than it already is. Then she hung up. I was shaking. The idea that she's out there telling people I attacked her, that there are family members who actually believe I'm violent, it made me feel sick. My husband immediately called his dad back. Told him nothing his mother said was true, that we have footage of the entire thing, that I never went near her. His dad sighed like this was all so exhausting for him. Said his wife is clearly going through something and we all need to be more understanding. That maybe she's remembering things differently because she was so upset. My husband said she's not misremembering anything, she's lying. His dad told him not to talk about his mother that way and hung up. That was Tuesday. Wednesday my husband's sister showed up at our house. Didn't call first, just rang the doorbell at 7 p.m. My husband answered and she pushed right past him, came into our living room, and started yelling at me. Said I'd been trying to destroy their mother since the day I married into the family. That I'm jealous of how close she is with her son. That calling the cops was bad enough but now I'm apparently trying to make her look crazy by denying what happened. I asked her what exactly she thinks happened. She said her mother told her I screamed at her and shoved her when she tried to explain herself to the police. I pulled up the footage on my phone. Showed her the whole thing. Her climbing through the window, standing there when the cops arrived, me coming out after they were already talking to her. Never closer than 10 feet away. His sister watched it twice. Then she said the angle doesn't show everything and her mother wouldn't lie about something like this. My husband lost it. Told her to get out. She said he's choosing me over his own family and stormed off. But before she left she turned around and said their mother is thinking about pressing charges against me for filing a false police report. That I wasted police time and made false accusations that could have gotten her arrested. I barely slept that night. Kept thinking about what it would be like if she actually did that, if I had to defend myself legally over something that never happened. My husband kept saying the footage proves everything, that no one would believe her, but I couldn't shake it. Thursday his mother's best friend called me. I don't even know how she got my number. She said she's known my mother-in-law for 30 years and she's never seen her like this. That she's been crying constantly, that she's lost weight, that she's talking about how her son doesn't love her anymore. The friend said she knows there are two sides to every story, but did I really have to involve the police? Couldn't we have handled this privately? I told her I didn't involve the police because of some argument. I involved them because she was climbing through my window. The friend got quiet. Then she said, she told me you locked her out after she drove 2 hours to bring you dinner. I said that's not what happened and she needs to ask to see the police report. She said she didn't want to get involved and hung up. My husband talked to his brother that night. He's the only family member who hasn't completely taken their mother's side. He said he believes us but he also said their mother is playing the victim hard. She's apparently been sending long emotional texts to everyone about how she's being alienated from her grandchildren, we don't even have kids yet, how she's not allowed to see her son anymore, how I poisoned him against her. His brother said some family members are planning an intervention. They want to sit down with my husband and convince him to work things out with his mother, to get marriage counseling for us, to fix whatever is going on. My husband said he's not going. His brother said it might make things worse if he doesn't at least hear them out. Yesterday my husband's phone was going off all morning. Text after text from relatives saying they're worried about him, that his mother loves him, that every family has problems and this doesn't need to be nuclear. His grandmother called and left a tearful message about how family is everything and she can't believe he'd turn his back on the woman who raised him. The worst part is I can see how worn down he's getting. He's been defending me nonstop for almost a month now. Every day it's another call, another text, another family member telling him he's wrong. Last night he said maybe we should just move. Start over somewhere his family can't show up randomly. I said we shouldn't have to run away from our own house. He agreed, but then he got quiet and said he never thought it would be this hard. His mother hasn't tried to come back here. But yesterday I saw her car parked down the street for about 20 minutes. Just sitting there. I have no idea what she was doing. Watching our house maybe. When I told my husband, he looked so tired he could barely respond. I keep checking the doorbell camera obsessively now. Every alert makes my heart jump. I'm scared she's going to do something else and find a way to make me look like the bad guy again. My husband says we need to just wait it out, that eventually everyone will see the truth, but I don't know if that's realistic anymore. Should we have just let it go after the window thing instead of filing the report? My mother-in-law hired a lawyer. We got a letter yesterday. Official letterhead, the whole thing. It's a cease and desist demanding we stop harassing and defaming her. Says we've made false statements to law enforcement, shared doctored video evidence with family members, and caused her severe emotional distress. She's threatening to sue us for defamation if we continue to spread malicious lies about her character. My husband read it 3 times like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Then he called his mother. She answered on the first ring, all sweet and concerned. Asked if he was finally ready to talk reasonably. He asked her what the hell this letter was about. She said her attorney advised her not to discuss it with him directly. He said, "You're actually doing this. You're threatening to sue us." She started crying. Said she didn't want it to come to this, but we left her no choice. That she's been humiliated in front of her friends, ostracized by people who believe our lies, and she has to protect herself. My husband said the police report isn't a lie, the video isn't doctored, and she's the one who climbed through our window. She said her lawyer disagrees with our interpretation of events and hung up. I felt like I couldn't breathe. A lawsuit. She's actually threatening a lawsuit because we called the cops on her for breaking into our house. My husband was pacing around the kitchen saying this is insane, that she can't possibly win, that any lawyer would tell her she has no case. But the letter was real and it scared the shit out of me. We called a lawyer that afternoon. Cost us $300 just for the consultation. He reviewed everything, watched the doorbell footage, read the police report. Said her cease and desist is basically meaningless, that nothing we've done is defamatory because it's all documented truth. But he also said if she actually files a lawsuit, even a frivolous one, we'd have to respond. That means legal fees. He estimated $5,000 minimum just to get it dismissed. My husband looked sick. We don't have $5,000 sitting around for this. The lawyer said he doubts she'll actually file, that this is probably just an intimidation tactic, but we should keep all documentation just in case. We left his office and my husband didn't say anything the whole drive home. That night his brother called. Said their mother is telling everyone we lawyered up first, that we're trying to build a case against her. My husband said that's not what happened and explained the cease and desist. His brother got quiet. Then he said, "She's really doing this?" My husband said apparently so. His brother said their dad is fully supporting her, paid for the lawyer himself, thinks we're being unreasonable and his wife deserves to defend herself. Friday the intervention happened. My husband refused to go but I guess they did it anyway, just without him. His sister sent him a long text afterward. Said 20 family members showed up. That they spent 2 hours discussing the situation. That the consensus is we're tearing the family apart over a misunderstanding and my husband needs to apologize to his mother so everyone can move forward. He texted back asking what exactly he should apologize for. She said for calling the police, for humiliating their mother, for choosing me over his family. He said he chose basic boundaries and safety, not me over anyone. She responded with, "That's the problem. You can't even see what you've become." I watched him read that text and something in his face just broke. He's been defending his decision for 5 weeks straight and his own sister is saying he's the problem. I tried to tell him he did the right thing but he barely responded. Just sat there staring at his phone. Saturday his mother posted on social media. Didn't name us directly but it was obvious. Long post about how sometimes the people you love most turn against you. How she's learning that being a mother doesn't mean your children will respect you. How she's grieving the loss of her son while he's still alive. The comments were full of supportive messages from family and friends. Things like praying for you and stay strong and you deserve better. My husband saw it because his cousin sent him a screenshot. Asked if he's really okay with his mother being this devastated. He didn't respond. Just turned his phone off and went to bed at 7 p.m. Sunday morning we were getting ready to go grocery shopping when someone knocked. I looked through the peephole. It was my husband's dad. My husband opened the door and his dad came in without being invited. Sat down on our couch like he owned the place. He said we needed to have an adult conversation. That his wife is suffering and this has gone on long enough. My husband said she brought this on herself. His dad said no, we brought this on everyone by overreacting. That the window thing was bad judgment but didn't warrant police involvement. That family handles things internally. I couldn't stay quiet. Asked him if he thought it was okay that she tried to break into our house. He looked at me like I'd said something stupid. Said she wasn't breaking in, she was trying to check on her son and we'd locked her out. That maybe if we'd been more welcoming none of this would have happened. My husband stood up. Told his dad to leave. His dad said he wasn't leaving until we agreed to drop this and apologize. That his wife is on anxiety medication now because of us, that she's not sleeping, that we're destroying her. My husband said she's destroying herself and asked him to leave again. His dad stood up slowly. Said he raised his son better than this. That he's ashamed of what he's become. Then he looked at me and said, "You must be so proud. You've isolated him from everyone who actually cares about him." My husband physically stepped between us and told his dad to get out or he'd call the cops. His dad left but not before saying, "You'd call the police on your own father. That's what you've become." The door slammed so hard our wedding photo fell off the wall. My husband sat on the floor and put his head in his hands. I sat next to him and he said, "I don't know if I can keep doing this." I asked what he meant. He said every single day someone from his family is attacking him, telling him he's wrong, making him feel like he's losing his mind. That maybe they're right and we should have just handled it differently. I reminded him she climbed through our window. He said he knows but now there's a lawyer involved and his family hates us and maybe it wasn't worth it. I said setting boundaries is always worth it. He didn't respond. Yesterday I caught him looking at apartments in other cities. When I asked about it he said he was just browsing. But I know what he was really doing. He's thinking about running. About moving far enough away that his family can't keep showing up and grinding him down. I don't know what to do anymore. His mother has successfully made us the villains. She's got lawyers and family support and social media sympathy. We've got doorbell footage and a police report in each other, but I'm watching my husband crack under the pressure of choosing between me and everyone he grew up with. Part of me thinks we should just apologize even though we did nothing wrong. Make this go away so he can have his family back. But I also know that if we do that, she wins. She gets to break boundaries forever because we taught her there are no real consequences. Is it selfish that I won't let him give in? My husband's family showed up at his workplace. He called me at noon yesterday, voice shaking. Said his mother, father, sister, and 2 aunts walked into his office building and asked the receptionist to see him. Security had to escort them out after his mother started crying loudly in the lobby, telling anyone who would listen that her son won't speak to her and she just wants to see him. His boss pulled him aside after. Asked if everything was okay at home. My husband had to explain that his family is having issues and he's sorry for the disruption. His boss said he understands but suggested my husband handle it before it becomes a problem. The implication was clear. Handle your personal life or it affects your job. When he got home he looked like he'd aged 5 years. Sat at the kitchen table and said he can't do this anymore. I asked what he meant. He said he can't keep living like this, waiting for the next ambush, watching his phone blow up, wondering when they'll show up next. That it's affecting his work now and we can't afford for him to lose his job over this. I said maybe we should talk to a therapist. He laughed but there was no humor in it. Said a therapist can't fix his family. I suggested we could at least have someone help us deal with the stress. He said okay but I could tell he didn't believe it would help. That night his mother left a voicemail. I only know because he played it for me. She was sobbing so hard she could barely talk. Said she drove 2 hours to see him and he had security throw her out like she was a stranger. That she's his mother and she deserves better than this. That she's tried everything to fix this and we won't let her. The message ended with her saying, "I'm running out of options and I don't know what else to do." My husband played it 3 times like he was trying to find something in her words that made sense. Then he said, "What does that mean? Running out of options?" I said it was probably just manipulation, trying to make him feel guilty. But something about the way she said it made my stomach hurt. 2 days later we found out what she meant. His grandmother called. The one who left the voicemail before about family being everything. She said she needs to tell him something and he's not going to like it. That his mother has been talking about hiring a private investigator. To follow us. Document our lives. Prove that we're unfit or dangerous or something that would justify her actions. My husband asked if she was serious. His grandmother said his mother is desperate and not thinking clearly. That his father is encouraging her because he thinks if they can prove we're the problem, the family will rally around them. My husband asked what exactly they think they're going to find. His grandmother said she doesn't know but wanted to warn him. After he hung up I asked if that was even legal. He said he didn't know. We Googled it. Apparently hiring a PI to follow someone isn't illegal but it depends on what they do with the information. I felt sick thinking about someone watching our house, following us to work, documenting our routine. My husband called the lawyer we consulted before. Left a message. The lawyer called back an hour later. Said if his mother does hire up high and they find nothing, it's just a waste of her money. But if she tries to use whatever they find to harass us or spread information, that could be actionable. He said to document everything and call him if anything happens. Everything. Like our whole lives aren't already about documenting every interaction with his family. Friday, my husband's brother called with more bad news. Said their dad is talking about coming to our house with other family members. An intervention, but at our home where we can't avoid it. That they're planning to show up on Saturday with his mother and refuse to leave until we agree to work things out. I asked my husband what we should do. He said he doesn't know. If we call the cops on his entire family, that's it. That's the end. No coming back from that. But if we let them ambush us in our own home, we're letting them win. Showing them they can violate our boundaries whenever they want. He decided we wouldn't be home Saturday. We left at 7 a.m., drove an hour away, spent the day at a mall walking around like zombies. Kept checking the doorbell camera. At 10 a.m. cars started arriving. His parents, his sister and her husband, 2 aunts, his grandmother, some cousins. 11 people total standing on our porch. His mother knocked for 5 minutes straight. Then his dad tried to look through the windows. Someone, I couldn't tell who, tried the doorknob. They stood there talking for almost 30 minutes. Finally his grandmother said something and they all left. But before they did, his mother looked directly at the doorbell camera. She knew we were watching. She said, "We're not giving up on you." My husband was pale. Said he feels like he's being hunted. That everywhere he goes, everything he does, they're there or planning to be there or watching somehow. I tried to reassure him, but I felt the same way. Sunday morning his sister posted on social media. Picture of their mother looking sad and tired. Caption said, "When you love someone who won't let you love them anymore. Praying for healing and reconciliation." The comments were full of family members saying things like she deserves better and some people forget where they came from. My husband saw it. Didn't say anything. Just stared at his phone. Then he went into our bedroom and closed the door. I heard him on the phone an hour later. When he came out I asked who he was talking to. He said a real estate agent. That he wants to know what our house is worth and how fast we could sell it. I felt panic rising in my chest. Asked if he was serious about moving. He said he doesn't know what else to do. His family knows where we live, where he works, where we go. They have our numbers, our addresses, our schedules. He said maybe if we moved far enough away they'd finally have to let go. I said that feels like running. He said maybe running is the smart choice. That we could start over somewhere they can't find us, build a life without constantly looking over our shoulders. I asked what about his job, our friends, everything we've built here. He said we haven't built anything. We're just surviving. That conversation was yesterday. We barely spoke after. He's been looking at apartments in different states. Places 4, 5, 6 hours away. Far enough that his family can't just drive over. I don't know if he's serious or if this is just a fantasy that makes him feel like there's an escape route. This morning I was getting ready for work when someone knocked on the door. I checked the camera. It was his mother. Alone this time. Just standing there holding something. I didn't open the door. She knocked again. Then she held up what she was carrying. It was a photo album. She spoke directly to the camera. Said, "I brought pictures from when you were little. I thought maybe if you remembered the good times, you'd talk to me." Her voice was steady. Not crying. Almost calm. It was scarier than when she was hysterical. She waited 5 minutes. Then she left the album on our porch and walked away. I watched her get in her car and sit there for a while before driving off. The album is still sitting outside. My husband came home at lunch and saw it. Hasn't touched it. Just keeps looking at it through the window like it might explode. He said tonight he thinks we need to make a decision. Either we move and cut all contact completely, or we try one more time to set boundaries with his family and risk this never ending. I said I'd support whatever he chooses. He said that's not helpful, that he needs me to have an opinion. But I don't know what to say. Every option feels wrong. If we stay, this continues forever. His family showing up, threatening lawyers, hiring investigators, posting about us online, turning his whole life into a war zone. If we move, we're letting them chase us away from our home, from our life, proving that they can make us run. His mother's words keep playing in my head. "We're not giving up on you." It didn't sound loving. It sounded like a threat. Like no matter what we do or where we go, they're going to keep coming. Keep pushing. Keep trying to force their way back into our lives until something breaks. I think my husband is reaching his breaking point. The question is what happens when he gets there. We moved 3 states away and didn't tell anyone where we went. The decision happened fast. My husband came home from work 2 weeks ago and said he'd applied for a transfer. His company has an office in a city 6 hours from here. Smaller market, less pay, but they had an opening and he took it. Start date in 10 days. He looked at me and asked if I was coming with him. I said yes before I even thought about it. Because watching him break down piece by piece over the last 2 months was worse than anything his mother had done to us. He wasn't sleeping. Barely eating. Every notification on his phone made him flinch. I'd catch him just staring at nothing, completely checked out. That's not a life. We listed the house as for sale by owner. Priced it to move fast. Got an offer in 4 days from a couple who didn't need financing. We accepted immediately. My husband quit his current job with 2 weeks' notice. I resigned from mine. We told our friends we were moving but didn't say where. Just that we needed a fresh start. His family found out we were selling the house because his aunt drove by and saw the sign. His mother called 17 times in 1 hour. My husband didn't answer. She left voicemails ranging from begging to screaming. One message she was crying saying she'd do anything to fix this, please don't leave, she can't lose her son. The next message she was furious saying we're selfish cowards who are running away from our problems. His dad sent a text that said, if you do this, you're not my son anymore. My husband read it, turned his phone off, and didn't turn it back on for 3 days. His brother was the only one he talked to. Told him we were leaving but didn't say where. His brother said he understood, that he was sorry it came to this, but he got it. Asked my husband to stay in touch somehow. My husband said he'd try but couldn't promise anything. The last week in that house was surreal. We packed everything we owned into a moving truck. Cleaned out 7 years of our lives. Threw away the photo album his mother left on our porch without ever opening it. My husband looked at it sitting in the trash and said, I don't want to know what's in there. I don't want to remember the good times because it makes this harder. 2 days before we left, his mother showed up at the house at 6 a.m. We were already awake, still packing. She started pounding on the door screaming that she knew we were in there. My husband opened the door. She tried to hug him. He stepped back. She started crying and said, you're really doing this? You're really leaving me? He said, I'm leaving the situation. You made the situation. She said she never meant for any of this to happen, that she just wanted to be close to him, to be involved in his life. He said she wanted control and when she didn't get it she tried to destroy us. She denied it. Said everything she did was out of love. My husband said, you hired a lawyer to threaten us. You told people I'm abusive. You showed up at my job. You tried to break into our house through a window. That's not love. That's obsession. She said he's twisting everything, that she's made mistakes but we've made it impossible for her to fix them. He said there's nothing to fix because we're done. She grabbed his arm. Begged him not to do this. He pulled away and said, you need to leave. We're moving and you're not going to know where. Don't try to find us. She asked how she's supposed to live not knowing where her son is. He said that's something she'll have to figure out. Then he closed the door. She stood on the porch crying for 20 minutes. Then she left. That was the last time he saw her. Moving day his phone started blowing up again. His sister, his dad, aunts, cousins, his grandmother. All saying variations of the same thing. That we're making a huge mistake. That family is forever and we can't run from that. That his mother is devastated and this might actually kill her. My husband blocked every number. We drove 6 hours with everything we owned in a truck. Didn't stop except for gas. Got to our new apartment and spent the first night sleeping on an air mattress surrounded by boxes. My husband said it was the most peaceful night he'd had in months. The new city is smaller. Quieter. Nobody knows us here. My husband started his new job and his co-workers have no idea what we've been through. I found work at a local company. We're making less money but we're not spending it on lawyers or security systems or therapy to deal with his family. We got new phone numbers. Didn't give them to anyone from his old life except his brother, and only because my husband made him swear not to share it. His brother has kept his word. Texts occasionally to check in. Says their mother is telling everyone we disappeared, that she's worried we're in danger or being controlled. My husband doesn't respond to those messages. Last week his brother sent a photo. It was from some family gathering. His mother in the center looking thin and tired. The caption his sister posted said something about staying strong through trials. My husband looked at it for a long time. Then he said, she looks sad. I asked if he felt guilty. He said, I feel sad for her. But I don't regret leaving. I asked if he thinks he'll ever talk to her again. He said maybe someday but not anytime soon. That she'd need to get serious help and prove over years, not weeks or months, that she's changed. That she respects boundaries. That she can be in his life without trying to control it. He said he doesn't think she's capable of that but he hopes he's wrong. We don't check social media anymore. Don't look at what his family is posting or saying. It doesn't matter. They're not part of our daily life anymore and that's how it has to be. Some nights my husband still has trouble sleeping. He'll wake up at 3 a.m. and I'll find him in the living room just sitting in the dark. When I ask what's wrong he says he's waiting for the knock on the door. For his mother to somehow find us and show up. I remind him she doesn't know where we are. He says, she found ways before. I don't think she'll find us. We were careful. Used a P.O. box in a different town for our mail. Didn't update any social media with our location. Told our employers not to give out information to anyone claiming to be family. My husband's new job doesn't even have his parents listed as emergency contacts. It's just me. We're rebuilding. Slowly. Making new friends who don't know anything about window climbing mothers-in-law or cease and desist letters. Going to dinner without checking over our shoulders. Living in a place where we can actually relax. But there's a cost to all this. My husband lost his entire family except his brother. His parents, his sister, his extended family, all gone. He says it was his choice, but I know it hurts. Sometimes I catch him looking at old photos on his phone. Pictures from before everything went wrong. He never talks about it, but I can see it on his face. The grief of losing people who are still alive. I asked him a few nights ago if he thinks we did the right thing. He said he thinks we did the only thing. That staying would have destroyed us eventually. That his mother wasn't going to stop and his family wasn't going to help. That sometimes the only way to protect yourself is to completely remove yourself from the situation. He said the hardest part isn't missing his family. It's accepting that they chose his mother's feelings over his boundaries. That when it came down to it, they decided he was the problem for not just letting her do whatever she wanted. He said that's what really broke him. Not her actions, but everyone else's response to them. I don't know if his family will ever understand what they did. His mother probably tells a version of this story where she's the victim and we're cruel and ungrateful. Where she was just trying to be a good mother and we cut her off for no reason. I doubt she mentions the window or the lawyer or showing up at his job. Those details probably don't exist in her version. We're building a life where none of that matters anymore. Where we can make decisions without consulting or defending them to an entire family. Where our home is actually ours and nobody is going to show up demanding keys or climbing through windows. Where we can just exist without constantly being on alert. Is it perfect? No. My husband still deals with anxiety. Still checks the locks multiple times before bed. Still gets tense when someone knocks on the door. But it's better than before. So much better than watching him slowly fall apart under the weight of his family's pressure. I don't regret supporting him through this. Don't regret moving. Don't regret any of it. Because I got my husband back. The person he was before his family started attacking him for having boundaries. He's lighter now. Smiles more. Sleeps better most nights. That's worth more than any relationship with people who thought love meant unlimited access. His mother wanted to be close to him so badly that she pushed him away forever. That's the reality. She had a son who loved her and would have maintained a relationship if she just respected basic boundaries. Instead, she has nothing. No relationship. No contact. No idea where he is or how he's doing. And we have peace. Finally.